And therefore, I think that I anchor my support of that decision to really protect our people from the raging pandemic. So, yun lang po. Kasi wala naman po kaming ibang pakay, wala naman po kaming ibang iniisip kung hindi mabigyan ng sapat na proteksyon ang taong bayan. So maganda naman po ang kinalabasan kasi 77 million po ng ating pinuntirya na mabakunahan by the end of 2022, more than 100% ang ating vaccination coverage with about 150, 160 more or less million doses utilized, Your Honor. And the law, which I would like to thank Congress, you passed the National Vaccination Act of 2021 or 11525, RA 11525. And this really made a lot of difference in terms of building a wall of immunity for our people. And that is why we have tremendously, significantly reduced deaths because of our vaccination, national vaccination program, and providing protection to initially our healthcare workers who we prioritize at a time when there was limited supply of vaccines. Yun lang po, Madam Chairperson.
Honorable Garin.
Yeah. So basically, Madam Chair, I'm waiting for the documents on who decided on this loan. So, Secretary, you're saying that the 129,295,530,000 pesos was all used to procure vaccines? Or maybe DOH can shed light on this. Secretary Bossa, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Based on records, only 71 billion was used for was allocated for vaccine.
Is that in pesos or dollars?
In pesos. And of the 71 billion, we only obligated only 68 billion. Yun yung binayad natin. Oo. Correct. So yun facility, ma'am.
Let's focus on the total amount. Wag yun, kasi kasama pa rin yun eh. Those are the taxes and everything. So you go back to 71, not to 68.
Ma'am, the way I understood it was this was a loan facility, like a credit line by ADB and World Bank during the time of the pandemic emergency.
So in other words, the 129.295 billion in pesos was not consummated?
Kasi in fact there were some were used for other things like test
Precisely.
kits
That's
and
what.
PPEs.
Yeah, that is what we were requesting last hearing. Okay, can you give us a breakdown? Saan ginamit or magkano ang nagamit out of the $2,210,180,000? Magkano ang ginamit at saan ginamit? That was a request last hearing, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, we will provide the committee.
Let me just interject quickly. SecDad, in the last hearing, there was another loan mentioned, a 45.3 billion peso loan, of which a bulk was returned. So can you confirm that? So in addition to the 71 billion, there was another loan, 45.3.
Yeah, this was actually returned last November.
So tama po. So you confirm that?
Yes.
The entire amount.
No, but,
so hindi lang po kasi ang sabi po nung huling hearing, may 2 billion po na ginamit of that 45.3 billion. So can you kindly confirm? Kasi dito kay Dr. Aleli, sinabi niya, merong 100% canceled. So ano po ba talaga?
Yeah, tama kayo, Madam Chair. 2,314 billion, 214 pesos was not utilized.
Was utilized?
It was
or?
Allotted, but it was not. Only 914 314,000 was actually utilized.
So, dun sa
hindi na
four-
tayo bumili, kinancel
So dun
na
sa
natin.
45.3 billion,
45.3, yes.
43 yung kinancel
Correct. Correct.
pesos.
43 billion, 43 million, 367,853.
Yung canceled.
Sinoli natin. Pesos. Correct.
Madam Chair, pasensya na wala ako doon. No? So out of the, let's go, pesos tayo, sected, no? Pesos. Out of the approximately 129.295 billion pesos na inutang, ang hindi nagamit ay 43 billion. Tama?
Tama.
Yun ang returned.
Yes, ma'am.
Ano yun? Returned
Yes,
ba yun
Madam
or
Chair.
canceled?
Returned.
Bali
Returned,
napunta sa inyo yung pera, binalik nyo or hindi na tinanggap yung pera?
Returned, ma'am, last
So
November.
pumasok yung pera. Kailan siya pumasok?
Pumasok siya when? Prior.
It never
2022.
Return siya, hindi siya did not come.
Okay. According to Bureau of International Health Cooperation, the third loan was not included in our budget. We just canceled.
that's
we will not
$300 million.
utilize the loan. That was what was the
Hindi.
Just to clarify, there's a third loan that's completely canceled.
Yes po. Yes po.
Reserve 3.
Yes po.
That's only 300.
So there were two cancellations. Merong isa na portion, merong isa na 100% cancellation. Okay, just to clarify.
So magkano? So sorry. So merong $300 million na canceled. Yung PSERV 3, tama ba?
Yes.
Yeah, sected?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay. Tapos meron pang 43 billion pesos.
Yes.
Sected? Dalawa, ha?
Tama.
So that's, just to be sure with your facts, kasi,
Can I refer to Director Ella, who's more knowledgeable than I am?
Honorable Chair,
Director Ayala.
so out of the 45.369 billion, 40.8 billion was released by DBM. However,
teka, Madam
Ay,
Chair.
iba na naman.
Iba. Sa ano yan? Ano yung 45 plus? Is it peso, dollars? Let's be.
Pesos.
peso na po, peso.
So saan siya? Saan siya? Saan
Preserve.
siya? Preserve. Saan siya?
Magkakasama na po from ADB, AIB, and World Bank po. Kakasama na po.
So Madam Chair, Ma'am Ella,
Yes po.
dito sa sinabing 6 na loan, meron pang iba or wala na?
Ito pong binabasa namin ay pertaining only to the COVID-19 vaccine procurement po. Ang sinasabi po ni Director Aleli ay lahat po ng mga loans pertaining to COVID-19.
What we want is the whole loan in totality para hindi tayo ma-confuse. Di ba, Madam Chair? That's what we are, yeah. Okay. So para hindi tayo ma-confuse, tama yung 6, wala nang dagdag na loan yon. So, Madam Chair, may we ask Dr. Grace at Dr. Aleli Sudiakal again. Out of the $2.21 billion, which translates to 129.295 billion pesos, magkano ang hindi pumasok, magkano ang pumasok at binalik?
Ang hindi po, Congressman Garin, ang hindi po talaga pumasok sa atin is the third HEAL projects. That's a HEAL 2 as additional financing worth $500 million.
Plus 300 ng preserve.
Hindi, if I may summarize po, ang hindi talaga pumasok sa coffers ng Department of Health, $500 million from the HEAL 2 additional financing plus $300 million from the PSERP 2 additional financing or $800 million po.
How much is that in pesos, the equivalent in pesos? Yung HEAL 3 at PSERB 3. 500 tsaka 300. Sa record nyo po, magkano po?
44.8
Okay.
billion pesos.
Hindi siya pumasok.
Hindi po pumasok.
So ano yung sinasabi nyo kanina na binalik?
Yun na po yun.
So hindi siya pumasok.
Hindi po talaga pumasok. Parang pinakancel po.
Canceled siya.
Opo, cancel.
Hindi siya na binalik.
Hindi po.
Okay. Did that cancellation entail a cost to the Filipino people?
It did not, but we have these two fees aside from the loan interest. There's a commitment fee and there's an interest. So the commitment fee is incurred as soon as the loan agreement po is signed. And the front-end fee is a bank requirement po. It's an amount paid by the Philippine government in advance upon signing of the loan
How much is the
agreement.
total, Madam Chair?
For the commitment fee po,
Total na lang para isang
total.
figure na.
162 million pesos po for the commitment fee for the 6 projects. This is in pesos na po.
Cancel. So how much is the total cancellation fee?
It's not really called cancellation fee po, but commitment fee. So there is really no term as a cancellation fee.
Okay. The commitment fee is 160 million pesos. Tama?
Yes,
Okay.
Congressman
Ano pa yung
Garin.
ibang mga binayaran dahil hindi natuloy yung dalawang utang na ito?
Yun lang po, but we also pay the front-end fee. So this front-end fee, as I mentioned, are bank requirements po. Idadagdag ko po ito, I will do the sum, but for the PSERP parent loan, $250. For the PSERP additional financing, or the second one, is $1,250,000. For the third PSERP is $750,000.
Mamaleli, total na lang para
Yes,
mas
ma'am.
mabilis tayo.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry po.
We just want to align because in the last hearing and for the information of
Yes.
Secretary Herbosa, we were informed by DOH that there was a payment, but we call that a wastage of approximately 2 billion pesos dahil hindi natuloy ang loan. And I believe the chairman can confirm this.
Yes, I confirm that. There was a mention of a 2 billion peso penalty fees.
Chair, my apologies. I said 2 million, but actually that was shooting from the hip. I did not have the exact data, so I apologize.
Oh, we all heard billion. Oh, you meant 2 million.
2 million po. But that was inaccurate because I didn't have the data at the time. So my apologies to
It was 2
this
billion,
body.
Madam Chair, because that was what was mentioned.
Oh,
So kung babaguhin yan,
okay lang.
it was very clear in our records and even in my notes. So we reviewed it again
I
before
also
this
vividly
hearing.
heard you say 2 billion. That's why nagulat kaming lahat. But nonetheless, they're now under oath. Could you kindly do the computation
maybe, Madam
of your
Chair.
front-end fees?
Yeah, maybe, Madam Chair, may we request the Honorable Secretary to look into this because this should not be repeated. Alam niyo naman yun, Sec, ang daming nag-aalok ng utang. Di ba? Maraming nag-aalok ng utang. We know that, having been in the department before. But we always refuse those loans. And I believe even Secretary Guevara was fully aware gaano kahigpit ng gobyernong umutang. Kasi maraming nagpapautang. But at the end of the day, we need to really assess whether it is advantageous or disadvantageous to the people. So, Sec-Ted, if I may politely and respectfully request you to look into this and submit to the Honorable Committee the actual figures. So, my last question, Madam Chair, actually, na-challenge na ako. This is not against anybody. But earlier, Secretary Herbosa mentioned that the cheapest testing cost was with Red Cross. Yeah. But again, yun nga ang problema. Maraming nag-aalok ng murang testing cost, but then PhilHealth was reimbursing it at 8,150. So, President Mandy, what happens during that time? Kunyari, nag-charge yung, example, Red Cross would charge 3,000 worth 4,000 pesos. nire-reimburse ba yun sa PhilHealth? Pwede bang matignan to? I'm not only referring to Red Cross. This is just an offshoot of the statement of Secretary Herbosa na it's not basically on Red Cross, but it was a concern that was conveyed by Kong Stella during the last hearing na merong mga institution who were actually collecting from PhilHealth using COVID testing. So minsan akala natin mura, sasabihin nila, oh, 4,000 pesos lang. Dapat nga 2,000 yan. But then records will bear it out that billions of pesos was spent on reimbursement. So,
Madam Chair, can I address a question?
Yes, please, Press Mandy.
Yeah. Based on my understanding, Congarin, the price cap is determined by Department of Health, DOH po.
So, Madam Chair, earlier Secretary Duque said that it was determined by PhilHealth. Now, PhilHealth is saying it was actually DOH, Sec Duque, who determined the cost. Kasi that was actually an issue during the previous
linawin po natin. Ang case rates, yan po ba ay subject to approval by the board? When you issued that policy, was that subject to board approval? Yes. Press Mandy?
Yes, ma'am. Honorable Kong Stella. It's determined by the EXECOM, PhilHealth EXECOM, and then approved by the Board of Directors po.
So, I'm sure you presided that board meeting. I see, ano pala,
Wala pa po, ma'am.
CEO Morales.
Yes.
Do you recall CEO Morales? The chairman, sorry. You remember being present in the board meeting when the case rate for the various COVID test packages were approved, sir?
No, Your Honor, I don't remember. These events happened 4 years ago, so I'm not any more familiar with the details. But I was conscious that we started with a rather high cost, and we were trying to bring it lower because there was no testing available. There was only one laboratory that was doing it, and you could get the results in more than 1 day. So it was a seller's market, if I remember right. So the price was quite high.
How about
Madam Chair?
Secretary Duque?
So, sorry, Madam Chair, a quick interjection lang. Pasensya na po, General Morales, who's a very good friend of mine. In a pandemic, there's no seller's market because the government takes over. And Secretary Duque here and Secretary Herbosa is fully aware, even with MERS-CoV, even with SARS, the global community controls the prices. So kung isa lang yung laboratory, the more that PhilHealth should have been prudent not to waste money. I go back to you, Madam Chair, for Secretary Duque's response.
So, Secretary Duque, as chairman of the board of PhilHealth, you preside over the board meetings. Is that correct?
That is right, albeit non-voting
Yes.
member.
So do you recall presiding over this meeting where those COVID test case rates were approved?
I vaguely recall, because at that time, I was chairman of the IATF. So there were long stretch of meetings that I missed because I was, in fact, chairing the 36-member IATF for policy formulation that would eventually underpin the various health protocols in the different settings. So I think the PhilHealth can look at the records whether indeed there was this resolution approved by the board, Madam Chairperson. Yun lang po.
70 minutes. Press Mandy, could you kindly submit the minutes of the relevant board meetings?
Yes, Honorable Kong Stella, we will do that immediately. Kong, if I may add also, Madam Chair, sorry, if I may add, the costing and determination of the COVID-19 testing benefit package rate was based on 2 factors, no? Available market information, and the second one is in consultation with clinical experts. Just wanted to add that. Thank you, Madam Chair. We will furnish the minutes immediately, Madam Chair.
Yeah, so Madam Chair, let me just reiterate our request at PhilHealth to submit to this August body a breakdown of the reimbursements on all institutions who availed of COVID testing reimbursement from PhilHealth, including the unit cost per test. So, Madam Chair,
Yes,
with
Kong. We
to
shall-
give
we shall comply, Kong.
Yes, thank you.
you.
But to give courtesy to the other members, I yield and request to be listed in the second round.
Thank you, Honorable Garin. The next to interpolate is the Honorable Salvador Plato.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To our dear colleagues and our esteemed guests, magandang umaga po. Madam Chair, huwag kayong mag-alala, hindi natin pag-usapan to dollar. Pesos lang yung akin. Para, I wonder, but ang hirap mag-compute, ang dami yung alalay sa likod. Isang pindot lang naman eh. Para matulungan nyo sana yung mga boss natin sa harapan. Madam Chair, napakaganda yung programa ng Department of Health. It's really beneficial to our citizens, considering that every one of us must take good care of our health. At sa ayaw at gusto natin, ay dadating at darating din sa buhay ng isang tao na magkakaroon siya ng problema na may kinalaman sa kanyang kalusugan. Pasalamatan natin ating Pangulo. One of the 8-point agenda is itong kalusugan, not only edukasyon o yung food security. Binigyan niya ng diin talaga itong kalusugan yung SONA nung nakaraan. Isa po ito yung sa MAIP na tinatawag natin, yung Medical Assistance to Indigent Patients, o mas kilala sa tawag na MAIP. Sa programang ito, tunay na pakipakinabang sa ating mga kababayan. In my district, Madam Chair, I have exhausted this program in helping the residents, especially yung mga marginalized sector in my area, comprising the town of Angat, Santa Maria, and Norsagaray. We even have agreements with private hospitals, which I know is not availed of in all districts. For more than a year now, we have encountered some problems which I hope, Madam Chair, can be resolved. Una po, nais ko po malaman saan parte ba ng proseso na nagkakapagbigay problema kung bakit matagal po mabayaran o masital ng DOH ang billing ng mga private hospitals. Ilan ang hospital in my area ang umaayaw na mag-entertain ng MAIP dahil napakatagal daw magbayad ang DOH at hindi naman kalakihan po alam natin ang pondo ng mga private hospitals. May paraan ba upang ito ay mapabilis dahil malaking bagay na hindi na kailangan itong ating mahirap na mga kababayan nung lumuwas pa sa Maynila. At ang mga hospitals naman ay nagbibigay din ng serbisyo na gaya ng ginagawa ng mga iba. May know, Madam Chair, kung ano masasabi ng DOH regarding this?
Madam Chair, may I refer to Undersecretary Chong, who's in charge of our MAIP funds.
Yusek Chong, you're
Good morning,
recognized.
Madam Chair. Good morning, Kong. With regards to that po, normally po kasi pag private, they have to enter into a MOA with the CHD. So sa atin po, Madam Chair, like in Bulacan, they have to enter into a MOA. Lalo po sa area namin, wala pong DOH hospital except the Johnny Villanueva Hospital. So ang mangyayari po, mamuwa po the private hospital to the CHD. If they are allocated an amount of money, kailangan po kasi, kunyari po, mabigyan sila ng 500,000, parang letter of guarantee lang ang matatanggap talaga ni hospital. Upon the completion of the number of beneficiaries, patient, address, and the procedure done to the patient, tsaka lang po siya mababayaran. So maybe po, the DOH can help the private hospital matulungan mag-liquidate and how to process it. Kasi pag wala po yung liquidation report, we cannot also pay the private hospitals, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sagot ni Yusek Chong. Tungkol po sa professional fees ng mga doctors, ayaw nila na i-charge sa MAIP dahil matagal daw magbayad ang DOH. Paano ba natin pwedeng ito masolusyonan? Thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, with regards po sa PF ng mga doctors, we already issued a MOA, a memorandum of a DPO with all the government hospital doctors to accept the GL for their PF. Unfortunately po, with the private ones, ang importante lang po, it should not be higher than should not be more than 50% of the total MAIP received by the patient. So kung 50,000 po yung natanggap na MAIP ng pasyente, the PF of the doctor should not be more than 25,000. But normally po, with us now here, tinutulungan na rin namin po ang mga private hospitals para sabihin, ito, pwede pong maging MAIP ito. And once they have liquidated, mababayaran naman po ang mga private hospitals. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Ang nangyayari kasi po talaga, Madam Chair, ayaw ko bakit ayaw ng mga professional fees, ayaw nilang i-charge sa MAIP. Salamat sa sagot ni Madam Chong. Ito pang tanong ko, Madam Chair, para kay Secretary Ted Herbosa. May certain parameters o requirements ba ang DOH upang mabigyan ng district hospital ang isang distrito? Kasi po yung aming Regasiano Memorial Hospital na situated sa Santa Maria mismo, may own town, ay matagal ng panahon po ito. Kailang na magkaroon ng legislative district, ay dumami na ng mga pasyente talaga rito, not only coming from Congressman Linabel's district, kay Boy Cruz, Congressman Boy Cruz, at iba pang mga lugar na pumupunta sa amin. This hospital, as we all know, is being operated by the provincial government na nag-exist pa nung hindi pa nahati ang lalawigan ng Bulacan. Dahil sa lumalaking populasyon ay kailangan ng mas malaki, mas maraming serbisyo under the district hospital. May I know you, Mr. Chair, Secretary?
Madam Chair, for the district hospitals which are under the local government unit or the governor, ang tulong na nabibigay ng Department of Health ay yung tinatawag nating Health Facilities Enhancement Funds. So ito ay request for either infrastructure or equipment for hospitals being run by the local government unit. Ang pagpapatayo po ng district hospital nasa sanggunian kung ipapasa nila yung pagpapatayo nito or pagpapalaki ng kapasidad ng isang hospital, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, can I also add to that? As of 2017 po, ang Regasiano Mercado received 10 million for infra and 10 million for equipment. In 2018, they received also 20 million for equipment. But apparently, the use of RAC agreement already lapsed. So ang problema, hindi namin po siya mabigyan since there's a use of RAC agreement with a lot. So as from our end, they are requesting funds to construct a new hospital. Yeah. For 2024 po, there's a 75 million which is with the DPWH right now, and another 50 million for 2025 proposal. So it's up to DBM if it will be included in the NEP, yung 2025, Madam Chair.
Ito ba, Madam Chair, galing lahat sa DOH to? Binabanggit mo na 75 billion at saka yung 50.
Yes, Madam Chair. Opo.
Kasi gusto ko lang malaman, siguro may records naman kayo dyan, noong 2017, may pinadala po kayo sa infra, 10 million for infra and 10 million sa equipment. Sa 2018, 20 million para lang sa mga equipments. Can you share something about this? Totoo ba ito?
Opo, Madam Chair, nasa records po namin that yung amounts po that you have mentioned from 2017 up to 2018 are all correct, Madam Chair.
Kasi po, Madam Chair, since the use of the existing hospital has lapsed, nag-request nga itong sinasabi mo pondo, baka kulang na kulang to, Secretary. Papatayo ng hospital, Kasi when I was in private sector, gumagawa rin kami ng mga hospital na worth billions. Ito, hospital, 75 million, ano magagawa natin po rito? Being an engineer, naging contractor din po tayo sa malalaking yung hospital. Kasi 75 billion, walang mapupuntahan po ito. Baka pwede po natin, Secretary, dagdagan po ito.
Sige lang po. Basta matapos.
Opo, basta matapos. Depende sa availability po yan. Usually, ang nangyayari sa mga proposal namin, nilalagyan ng tinatawag na Tier 1, Tier 2. Yung kagaya nito na yung lupa, yung use of rock, hindi expiring, ilalagay po sa Tier 2 yan or ikakat yung budget. So, kailangan ready talaga yung receiving na ahensya para ma-approve ng DBM na isama sa NEP. Kundi nilalagay po dun sa Tier 2 tapos nawawala na siya paglabas ng GAA po, Your Honor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Secretary. Ako po ay nagpapasalamat dahil sa tatlong bayan na sakop ng aking distrito ay nabigyan ng super health centers. Ang aming lamang concern ay ang requirements na ilalagay po dito sa loob upang maging fully operational. Katunayan nga tomorrow, bukas yung ginawa natin sa Angat, darating si Senator Bongo for the blessing at ako'y nandun. Pinupuntahan ko kasi Secretary ito mga projects din ito eh. Kaya alam na lang ko being an engineer, alam ko yung plano nyo. May linalagay kayo doon sa, mayroon tayong mga sa plano, mayroon tayong nakalagay X-ray room, mayroon tayong ultrasound room, wala namang gamit para doon. Sino kaya pwede dapat magbigay doon? There's an allocation of 2 million for equipments, worth of equipments. Ano mga mabibili na equipments ng 2 million? At kung ito ba ay sapat upang ma-operate ang super health centers natin?
Madam Chair, ang operation of the super health centers or health centers in general ay under the local government talaga. So usually ito ipopondohan nila kung gusto nilang lagyan ng X-ray through using the funds noong LGU. Kung gusto nila, pwede rin mag-request at titingnan naman ng aming Hospital Planning and Development Bureau kung feasible maglagay ng X-ray. Kasi pagka hindi basta binibili ng X-ray, kailangan leaded yung walls at may capacity talaga sa X-ray installation before ibigay yung pera or allocation for this, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Secretary. Kailangan na maliit lang siguro yung X-ray equipment dahil sa sayang mayroon na kayong room sa X-ray, mayroon na kayong room for ultrasound. Yung mga buntis natin ng mga kawawang mahihirap, mga depressed areas in my area, napakarami kasi mahihirap po roon. Kaya siguro maliit lang naman po yung ating para sa sana yung mga super health clinics. Alam naman natin ito, this is smaller than an hospital but bigger than a clinic. Kaya kailangan siguro kung po pwede sa susunod samahan na natin para sa mga X-ray equipments lang at saka yung ultrasound equipment. Mr. Chair.
Madam Chair, paliwanag ko lang, yung X-ray hindi ganun kasimple kasi even if we give you the X-ray, kung wala pong RadTech, magkakaproblema din tayo. So isa sa MOA namin when we give the X-ray is that the local government will hire and give salary to a RadTech which allows it to be licensed. So hindi siya ganun kasimple na pwede lagyan ng X-ray.
At, thank you kasi yung sa Angat, yung ibiblis bukas, may mga doctors na po na galing sa local government. Kaya lang, ang pagkaalam ko, wala pang X-ray at saka wala pang ultrasound. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Chair. Isa pang tanong ko dito naman po sa, thank you, Secretary. Dito naman po sa PhilHealth, Mr. Ledesma. Madam Chair, alam po natin, we understand that the dialysis coverage for the procedure was increased. Tama po ba ito, Mr. Ledesma?
Madam Chair, it was increased last year to 156 hemodialysis sessions po. Ang history po, that started with 90 po, and then na-increase to 144. And then ngayon po na-increase to 156 hemodialysis sessions. That was computed po based on the maximum of 3 hemodialysis sessions a week times 52 weeks in a year po.
Okay, 156.
156 po. Yes po.
Thank you. We are very thankful for that, Mr. Ledesma.
Welcome po.
Madam Chair, unfortunately, dialysis medicine in the ISR is not included. Is there a possibility that we include the medicine and not just the procedure, Madam Chair?
We actually had a meeting last Saturday, and we are thoroughly studying the recommendation on the Committee on Appropriations on the matter po, no? So, pinag-aralan po namin mabuti yan, and we shall revert po. Congressman Plato.
Thank you, President Ledesma. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Right.
Maraming salamat po.
Salamat. I'd
Thank you
like
po.
to remind the members that the three big issues that that we face at the moment would be the loans that we entered into for particularly for COVID supplies, as well as the 47.6 billion fund transfer to PSDBM, and the issue on the IRM, or the, what's IRM again? Interim Reimbursement Mechanism. So sayang po kasi yung presensya ng ating mga secretaries and former secretaries. So baka yung ibang issues na parochial concerns, pwede naman natin kausapin yung ibang officials on the side. Salamat po. Before we move on to the next interpellator, kasi lagi tayong nagtatanong tungkol sa MAIP on the professional fee. So linawin lang natin, Yusek Chong, no? Pagdating sa PFs, sa public hospitals, ang sinasabi niyo po is wala masyadong problema kasi the guarantee letter should cover the PFs. So the next question is, it will cover the entire PF? Can the GL and cover 100%? What is the maximum? In public muna ha, public hospital muna.
Madam Chair, in public hospital, nako-cover po usually lahat because we have a no balance billing.
Okay, however, halimbawa po, Philippine Heart Center, public hospital po yun. So, ano yung patakaran sa mga tulad ng Heart Center?
Madam Chair, basta po naka-ward, no balance billing.
O pagdating sa hindi ward?
If hindi po siya, Madam Chair, if hindi po siya naka-ward, the IRR of the MAIP will say, and we follow, and and all of the hospitals follow, na it should not be more than 50% of the MAIP received of the patient.
Of the MAIP received?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
kung yung
Yes,
MAIP na natanggap, naka-indicate 100,000 pesos, hanggang 50,000 lang ang pwedeng maibayad sa PFs dito sa surgeon sa Philippine Heart Center.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Okay. So yun din ang usual na dahilan kung bakit nagkakaroon ng refusals. Pasensya na po ha. Kasi minsan, for whatever reason, kunwari, mas mataas doon ang sinisingil na PFs, at pag nakikita nila na yung GL and they compute 50% is less than the PFs that they charge, nagkakaroon ng refusal. Or minsan, merong nagkakaroon ng policy na mag-down payment muna sila bago nila, something to that effect, bago nila tatanggapin yung pasyente. So anyway, I just want to report to you na merong mga gano'n na sinasabi sa akin ng aking constituents.
Madam Chair, we will act on it kung paano namin maaayos po yan, Madam Chair.
Yes,
Madam, yes.
Honorable Pumarin.
Thank you very much, Madam. Last hearing, I raised that point.
Yes.
You mentioned, Yusek, that you came out with a memo already. When did you release the memo?
Actually, the memo was released around April this year po.
Okay, but in my district, yung Quirino Memorial Hospital, yung mga doctors, they don't accept yung GL na yan. I was telling them na good as cash na yan. So ano nangyayari? Nag-e-end up ako nag-aabono ng pagbayad ng PF. I think we have to be very strict with that. Kesyo, ang sinasabi nila, they're just visiting doctors. But they're practicing their profession inside the government hospital. Kung ganun din ang reason nila, they should not be practicing inside the government hospital. Maybe we can call that attention because that's not only my concern but the concern
Yes.
of all the Kongs.
So I think ito na nga yung situation na sinasabi ko po na kapag nakikita po nila na yung 50% of whatever is in the amount is less than what they wish to charge, yun na po yung nangyayari. Na they refuse to accept the patient. Yes po, Sec.
Madam Chair, maybe I can clarify because this delves into what's called private practice of profession. Because these are physicians that practice their profession. If they go in as a private patient, wala pong control ang Department of Health or government PRC lang in terms of how they will be allowed to practice their profession. Sa PRC po yan, kung if we want some mandate to make them accept. Some hospital directors, like for example sa NKTI, put a cap on how much fee they can charge. At kung ayaw nila, sa iba sila mag-practice. So depende po yan kasi in a hospital, there are two clients. One client is the physician that wants to practice there. Yun yung tinatawag na visiting physician. At one other client is the patient na nagpapa-admit po doon. So ito ang complication nitong MAIP. No? Right? Originally, when we designed the MAIP, talagang for indigent patients lang. So no balance billing, tapos ang usapan. But we allowed it to be used for private patients because in some provinces, walang DOH hospital, walang government hospital. So payag naman ang DOH to implement it and pay 50% of what is allowed. So parang balancing act kami. So mahirap. And we cannot force the private practitioner kung ayaw niya. So ang advice namin sa patient sana na mag-utilize ng MAIP, mas maganda nga sana before confine sila, lalo na kung hindi emergency, magtanong muna sila para hindi tayo nagkakaroon ng problema with the private doctor. Kasi pwede naman nating i-refer sa public hospital at dun i-download yung pera without issue sa COA, etc.
Madam
Yun lang,
Chair.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Honorable Garin.
With due courtesy to Secretary Herbosa, the MAP or the Medical Assistance Program was started by yours truly. I was undersecretary during that time, and we crafted that program. I did that because the out-of-pocket expenditure was 60 to 75%. Na bawat pasyenteng nauospital, ang liit ng coverage ng PhilHealth. That paved way for my proposal of a medical assistance program to reduce the out-of-pocket expenditures. When my successor came, Secretary Ubial inserted the letter I para maging MAIP for indigent. But let us call a spade a spade. Sa Pilipinas, wala naman talagang reliable na list ng indigents. And many people who gets hospitalized, especially if these are like cancer, illnesses that are actually demanding financially on them, it brings down their status from middle income to poor and even very poor. In other words, the medical assistance program, which was later on coined and combined with other programs and called Malasakit, was originally the medical assistance program. So with due courtesy to Secretary Herbosa, I'm correcting that because I created that program. And ngayon, Madam Chair, for the information of the Honorable Secretary, last hearing, this was also a concern of the other congressmen. So we made a request before the Department of Health that there's actually a tariff. Hindi ba sex sa mga specialist? Kunyari magpapaanak ka, magkano ba ang taripa kapag normal delivery? Magkano bang taripa pagka CS? Magkano ang taripa kumuha ng cataract? This exists within specialty societies. So we put forward a proposal with Yusek Domingo and Yusek Bravo that DOH look into this. Kasi yung tariff hindi naman siya mababa. Para yan ang maging basis ngayon ng PF ng all doctors practicing in government facilities. Because we cannot say that we don't have a hold on them. When they practice in government facilities, meron even in private hospitals, that cannot be abused. In that way, mas magiging hindi masalimuot. So we go back to that proposal. Maybe Asek Albert, you can brief SecTed about what happened during the last hearing. And Madam Chair, allow me to reiterate our request for DOH to look into this, no? Yung taripa ng mga PF within specialty societies and the Department of Health to implement that. So Madam Chair, may I request Secretary Herbosa to give a commitment? Can we have that done in 2 months' time?
Before the budget hearing, sir.
Yes, Madam Chair.
I think that's enough time.
We will commit that.
No, masalimuot siya, sir, kasi naiintindihan namin yung sitwasyon ng mga, yung binabanggit niyo po. na, of course, there's autonomy, there's a market, we understand that. But there's also the proper paying of taxes, because we understand that the reason for not wanting to be part of the program is because payments of PFs will be recorded. So meron din ganon na lumalabas. So there's a balance of everything, and we hope that you look into it, because of course with the MAIP and that increases every year. So sa totoo lang po, lumalaki rin naman ang magiging income ng ating mga doktor, and they deserve that. They deserve that. Don't get us wrong. We want them to be paid properly, kasi kailangan natin sila. So don't get us wrong. But of course, ang gusto naman natin, may balance. So yun, sir. So sana po, hindi namin alam yung sagot dun. It's a very technical question. We want you to look into it. We just want the proper balancing, at kayo po yun bilang regulator. Okay po? So I guess for private hospital, Yusek Chong, ganun din yung rule. 50% of the GL that you're holding, yun po, subject to the consent of the doctor to participate in the program. So hindi natin mapipilit ang private doctor na tumanggap ng pasyente.
Madam Chair, but during our last meeting, I already gathered all my CHD directors and all the medical chief directors from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Just 2 weeks ago, we had already a commitment na lahat ng PF in government hospitals will be covered by MAIP. So that's our arrangement already. That was just 2 weeks ago, ma'am, or 3 weeks ago. So we are working on this, Madam Chair. So hopefully before the budget deliberation, okay na po siya. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Yes, Secretary.
Madam Chair, in regards to PF, I'd just like to reiterate my previous proposal and to put on record that probably one of the ways to solve the refusal of private physicians from the GL is to convert it instead to a tax deductible or a tax rebate, but that's, I think, has to be done through legislation. If the pro bono can be done, but that will fix the issue na hindi na sila magre-refuse. No. Tax credit na lang yung PF nila.
Yung actually, hindi ko alam kung baka naman through a BIR. That's why I asked Dr. Albert to get in touch also with the DOF, kasi baka naman it's through an AO, baka kaya na eh. Right. Salamat po. So, next to interpolate, from the minority, we have the Honorable Franz Castro.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning to our colleagues and to our resource persons. Magandang umaga po sa lahat. Madam Chair, diretso na po ako dun sa tanong ko, no, na last meeting, we discussed about the transfer of 47.6 billion to PSDBM, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair. So, I asked the DOH kung meron silang assessment or record or report about this, Madam Chair. And sabi naman nila, at saka kung merong natira pa dito, mamaya na sa PSDBM. So, Madam Chair, may I ask Yusek Bravo? Kasi siya yung nagsabi na meron silang
Madam Chair, good morning. We have already the breakdown of the 47 billion transfer funds. Out of the 47.6 billion, what was liquidated was 46 billion. Ang balance na lang po is 1.5 billion. Ang breakdown po dito is 363 million. Na-deliver na po ito, but we're still waiting for submission of documents from PS. So ang undelivered is 1.1 billion pesos. We'll give you a copy of this report, ma'am.
Yes, kasi sinabi ko, di ba, bago mag-hearing, dapat nabigyan na po ako ng copy niyan para nakita ko po yung Can you give me the copy now?
Yes, ma'am.
Madam Chair. Okay, so sabi ko rin po, are you familiar with the COA report about yung Legal Affairs Department yung COA Fraud Audit Investigation Report on alleged irregularities of payments to Pharmally Pharmaceutical, Madam Chair.
Sected or Yusek
So
Bravo?
familiar na kayo nun? Familiar na po kayo? Nabasa niyo na po?
Madam Chair, I think our internal auditor is here.
Who is our internal auditor? Kindly identify yourself.
Auditor from COA.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I'm the external auditor of the
Yes,
Department of Health from the Commission on Audit. I am Audit Team Leader, Attorney Neri Aspili.
Madam Chair, tinatanong ko po yung DOH kung nabasa niyo na po itong audit report dated November 16, 2023. So tanong ko po kay Secretary Arbosa kung nabasa niyo na po ito.
Hindi pa, ma'am. Anong audit report yan? Madam Chair, I'm not familiar with that particular audit report. I will find out, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, sana po yung present na setup ng ating DOH, dapat alam po ito kasi lessons, marami po tayong lessons na magagather dito kay Mr. Chair. So paalala ko lang, no, COA fraud
Honorable
audit.
Franz Castro,
Yeah,
do you want to ask our COA representative if you are familiar with the report that the Honorable Castro has just mentioned?
Your Honor, I would just like to manifest that I assumed in the Department of Health last September 2023. If I am aware, yes po, I am aware. The report was transmitted also to our office last November 2023.
The report was transmitted to your office? I mean, which office?
A copy was sent to our audit office in the DOH last November 2023.
And was it furnished as well to the secretary?
I'm not aware of that information because we are not the one who prepared the fraud audit report. But I can attest that the copy was given to our office in the Commission on Audit, DOH po.
So, Madam
Honorable
Chair,
Castro?
ang problema nga ngayon, nakikita natin, no? So, merong ganitong report, 2023 pa, napunta sa COA. DOH ba yan, COA?
You are, yes.
DOH, COA?
Yes.
Pero,
yes po.
sinasabi ninyo ba na hindi nyo pinabasa man lang kay Secretary o binigay man lang sa former Secretary regarding dito sa COA report?
I would like to clarify that the report on the fraud audit was prepared by another office in the commission.
I don't think that's relevant
Yes
now.
po.
Ang tanong is, hindi ba kayo nag-uusap ng mga tao po doon sa DOH? Ang opisina po ninyo is nasa DOH, tama po?
Yes po, Your
So wala kang
Honor.
kausap na taga-DOH?
Pertaining to this fraud audit report, there is a separate team which transmitted this report to the...
Hindi nga po, but isn't this something unusual? Hindi ka naman nakakatanggap ng fraud report araw-araw, tama, di ba?
Yes po. Yes po, Your Honor.
So anong ginawa ninyo nung natanggap ninyo yung fraud report noong November 2023? Hindi ninyo pinagbigay alam ang DOH na merong ganitong pangyayari?
Your Honor, they are given a copy of the fraud audit report.
Ang DOH mismo?
Yes, the Commission on Audit in the DOH is just given a copy
So
of
you,
the
okay.
transmitted fraud
So you
audit
know
report.
for a fact na ang mismong DOH ay nabigyan ng kopya?
Yes po, Your Honor. That
Okay.
is the protocol po.
So Honorable Castro, do you want to Proceed.
Yes. Undersecretary Bravo, nabigyan daw ng copy. Hindi niyo po binigyan si Secretary Arbosa?
Madam Chair, I was told that merong fraudulent audit findings. Hindi po nabigyan yung mga sa finance side because kasama sila sa kinakasuhan.
Well, the more na dapat meron din kayong copy kasi kinakasuhan kayo.
Madam
Diba?
Chair, yung isang involved sa kinakasuhan, yun ang sumagot. Yung dati naming finance director, may sagot po siya sa isang audit findings.
Okay, Madam Chair, mahalaga kasi itong audit findings na ito kasi may kinalaman ito sa napakalaking pondo, 47 billion. At siguro naman, hindi lang isang member ng DOH ang involved dito. Actually, 11 to, no, Madam Chair. So, kung bubusisiin ko to isa-isa, tatanungin ko kung ano yung mga naging process, bakit nagkaroon ng ganito.